Hey, folks, this is Pastor Bruce, and I want to take a look at two passages. This one is Luke 8, starting at verse 22, and then we will go to Psalm 57. And what I want to talk to you about is how do we handle the storms of life, or how does God help us in the storms of life? An even better question. And so this is a very familiar passage here. And let's read through where Jesus calms the storm. But one day he got into a boat with his disciples, and he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side of the lake." So they set out, and as they sailed, he fell asleep. And a windstorm came down on the lake, and they were filling with water and were in danger. And they went and woke him, saying, "Master, Master, we are perishing." And he awoke and rebuked the wind and the raging waves, and they ceased. And there was calm. And he said to them, "Where is your faith?" They were afraid, and they marveled, saying to one another, "Who then is this that commands even winds and water, and they obey him?" So in this passage, we see the storm coming down to the disciples as they are crossing the Sea of Galilee, and Jesus asleep in the boat, and the storm is so rough, they think they are going to die. We are perishing. We are going to die. So they are in desperate mode. They need help immediately. They need rescue immediately. And what does the Son of God do? Well, we see he rebukes the wind and the waves, and they ceased, and there was calm. So sometimes in the storms of life that you and I face, God calms the storm. He takes care of the circumstance. He rules in the circumstance um, to cause it to cease, and brings us out on the other side. Immediately, the waves and the wind ceased, and there was calm. But it's not always like that, is it? Let's look at another passage. This is Psalm 57, and it says this: "Be merciful to me, O God, be merciful to me, for in you my soul takes refuge. In the shadow of your wings I will take refuge, till the storms of destruction pass by." Now that is very interesting. Here we don't see God calming the storm. We see that God is calming the sailor in the storm. You see, he takes refuge in God, in you. In the shadow of your wings, I take refuge until the storm of destruction passes by. So sometimes God calms the storm, and sometimes God calms the sailor. And that's what we see here. I cry to God Most High. And isn't this what normally happens? There are times in our lives when we could all testify about God dealing with the storm in our life, but there's probably far more times where you and I can give testimony to God giving us peace, giving us refuge in the midst of the storm. And what is our part? Crying out to God Most High. to God who fulfills his purpose for me. You see, the storms of destruction, they have a purpose. God has a purpose for them in your life. And with that, we can take refuge in him. We could find comfort and peace knowing that God is in control and he has a good purpose for destructive storms. Let's keep reading. Verse 3, he will send from heaven and save me. He will put to shame him who tramples on me. God will send out his steadfast love and his faithfulness. So now here he's praying for rescue from the storm. But as the storm rages, he finds refuge in God. Let's read through the rest of this psalm. My soul is in the midst of lions. I lay down amid fiery beasts, the children of man, whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords. So we can see that this storm of destruction has something to do with, sorry about that, with the words of men and how they are talking about, treating the author here. And it goes on, verse 5. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. They set a net for my steps. My soul was bowed down. They dug a pit in my way, but they have fallen into it themselves. Now, here's where it comes to an end. My heart is steadfast, O God. My heart is steadfast. I will sing and make melody. This idea of having a steadfast heart that is steadfast on God, taking refuge in him, trusting him with every pounding of the roaring sea, with every strike of lightning, with every gust of wind that comes your way. My heart is steadfast. My eyes are focused on God, not on the storm. That's what we mean here by a steadfast heart. And so from that, I sing and make melody. Listen to the joy that's in his heart in the midst of his storm, right? I will sing and make melody. Awake, my glory. Awake, O harp and lyre. I will awake the dawn. I will give thanks to you, O Lord, among the peoples. I will sing praise to you among the nations. For your steadfast love is great to the heavens. Your faithfulness is to the clouds. You see that what he's doing is focusing on God's character. He's not focusing on the storm. He's being honest about the storm that he's facing. He's not minimizing what he's going through. He's saying, this is real. I am going through it. I'm not putting on a happy face in the midst of the storm and saying, well, everything's okay. No, he's being very real about the storm. But he's always turning back to who God is. God is his refuge. And who is that God? It's a God that has steadfast love that is as great to the heavens, and that his faithfulness is to the clouds. In other words, they're unending. They continue on in the midst of the storms. God continues to be there. Verse 11, be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth, including all the storms of destruction that you may feel. God may calm the storm in your life that you're facing right now, or he may give you peace in the midst of the storm and walk with us through the valley of the shadow of death. That's the kind of God we have. Well, I hope this brings encouragement to you, and we'll see you next time.